What's going on, everybody? Here from Buckeye Reviews. I wasn't going to do this part of the video. The initial plan was to go straight into the setup with the GoPro. That's fine, except it was like a steaming train wreck. And that was just why I'm explaining to you before you watch that spot. You're not like, what the hell am I watching? I understand that the setup was a lot trickier than I thought. I set it up a few times in the yard, but this is the first time I set it up out in the field. And I was exhausted from about a 90-degree humid day. So it just bear with me through that part of it. I'm not going to tell you the rest of what's in the video, but I can tell you I slept like a baby that night in it. I think it's going to work out. I am going to do a second review on it once I get some more time in it. This was more of the setup, some of the features, functions, and just a quick look at it. I think the camo is beautiful on that thing. It is just a beautiful little tent. It's got some drawbacks. As you're about to see on the setup, look at it this way. I'll say this. I've had a few ultralight tents, 6 Moon, a Lightheart. Those suckers can be finicky. This is every bit as finicky, and I don't know why that is. If like I said, if Slumberjack wants to get with me about pitching it a little bit better, I'm all game, man. I struggled. So you'll see here in a second. Other than that, like I said, I'm not going to go too much what you're going to watch. Stick with it. The fumbling and stumbling and mumbling is worth it. Check it out. All right, everybody, we're out here with the Nightfall 1. Going to go ahead and get this bad boy set up. The stakes that I brought on this trip are not the stakes that come with it. You'll see that in the previous clip. Here's the 2 pent poles, the main pole and the semi-brow pole, and there's our tent. I'm going to go ahead and get the GoPro oriented on my head. Let's check it out. Alright, so the first thing obviously we're going to do is start with staking out the corners. But we're going to loosely stake it. Now, I'll explain to you why. It's just the nature of this tent. There is an optional footprint. I did not bring that with me. But there is a footprint you can get for this tent. I did get it. It's a nice footprint. I'm going to stake that all the way. Now I'm staking these a little loose to begin with because I still have to put my poles in. So you can see I'm leaving a lot of slack there. This is just to kind of secure it. 2 stakes. Now the silver one is the little mini brow pole that kind of goes over the top and the back. And they are thin, but they're strong. This tarp, that's tent that is, they have a gray one that reminds me of the tarp tent rainbow in appearance. Now there's a sleeve on top, of course. The tent goes through, the pole goes through. Like so. Then you'll notice a grommet at the bottom. This is why you staked it out, because try to do this by yourself, it's going to get wonky real quick. Okay. So now you have yet another pole, and that pole goes here up through there. Now the silver side is the one that goes down here. Like so. And he goes around. Yep. Not exactly a freestanding tent. He goes to this guy. Like so. Okay. Then there's clips. Attach those clips like so. Then we're going to restake the thing, and I'm going to show you why I call this semi-freestanding here in a second. It's not a true freestanding tent, I don't believe. Because if you don't stake her out, she's going to take a barrel roll on you. Okay, so just leave it just like that. so, so you have to stake the back where your tent will take a header. Not a big deal, it's just the way it's built. I like it though. So one important note to make is that this pole really needs to touch the ground. No ifs, ands, or buts. It has to touch the ground. If not, your inner fly, your inner mesh is going to suffer from it because your inner tent hangs off this tent. You'll see what I mean in a second. It's kind of unique. All right, so let's finish staking it out. So far, so good. I've practiced out in the yard with it, done that kind of stuff with it. This is the first time I've carried it and actually had it out in the field. So this will be our first real trip with it. So this is why we like those groundhogs. See how that ground is? I just pulled it right up. There we are. I like this tent though. It's a bomber little looking tent, that's for sure. We're gonna loosen this guy up because the rest of it. Nice. It's not pitching right. So it's a little finicky to pitch it first. I will say that. I always felt it was a little finicky to pitch it first, but once you get it going, not bad. Yeah, it's a nice day out. It's a little sunny, kind of humid. It's a funny thing to pitch sometimes. There we go. Now it's right. That's one thing I'll say is the pitch is a little, gotta practice it. You do have to practice the pitch on it. I do recommend that. Okay, that's looking proper. So I've only pitched it once or twice, so still learning to get the pitch down. And like I said, it is particular on the pitch, that's for sure. It likes to have its pitch the right way, or it just gets wonky. But it's like any ultralight tent, you know, even though it's not an ultralight tent. Ultralight tents are infamous for that. If I'm breathing heavy, it's because I just walked a long ways and I'm a little tired. Now it's looking good. Now we're looking tight and right. All right. One more. So, like I said, I've only pitched it a few times. First time I pitched it out of a pack. So, things went a little wonky there, that's for sure. But here it is. Nightfall 1. Alright guys, let's check her out. Camouflage Highlander Kryptek tent of awesomeness. I love this thing. Trail weight, about 3.5 pounds. If you go fast and light and you get just a footprint, or use like Tyvek down there or something on the inside of it, you get down to 2.5 pounds. It reminds me of a tarp tent rainbow, because you'll notice on the tarp tent it's got that little sleeve, and I'm not sure why it reminds me of the tarp tent rainbow, but it does. Has a few guy out points I haven't used. I wouldn't call it a freestanding tent, and the reason why is if I take the stakes out of the back, it's just going to topple over. It's close, but you still have to stake it out to keep it on the ground. Now, the bad thing about the tent is there is no way to just have mesh and sleep under the mesh of your tent, and I'll show you why in a second. Let's get to that. So the inner is removable. You'll notice all these little toggle clips up here. Okay, if I start taking all those toggle clips out, you'll start to see, and I can literally take the tent down. So what that does is that allows me to have this just pitched as a right, just has like the, you know, just the rain fly, and I could pitch it, you know, Tyvek or Polycron underneath it, or footprint. You can't get the footprint. I'm still trying to make my footprint work correctly. Seems to. But yeah, pretty nice. So yeah, just the weight with footprint without the inner mesh was 2.5 pounds. That's not counting stakes. I was also using my stakes. I'm not using their stakes. Oh, I'm in love with this thing. So we're going to take another walk around of it. Oh, it's pretty. So you got a guy out point here. They're kind of like the line locks. One there. And one there. And it seems like it would hold up pretty well. I think it would shed snow pretty decently. I would watch your orientation, because this back end is kind of a weird shape, but this tent's pretty tall for a one person. So what I'm afraid of is on that, when hitting that direction, you're going to get some serious push in. Air vent. All right, so we're going to button her up, put the pad in, and show you what it's like with everything in it. So we got her set up, and those who know me know, they already know. Yep, another one. Yep, another bent. Yep, it happens. I am so freaking bad about that. Me, I'd literally have to buy a ton of extra tent stakes every year, just because. Just call me Bender for future M. So we're going to talk now about the livability of the tent. Of course, it comes with a pretty daggone long vestibule. I believe that's well over 30 inches from that point to that point. I haven't measured it because I'm out here. Kind of hard to measure stuff out here without a measuring tape. But we're going to talk about the livability. Now, the pad that I have in here is a 20 by 72 Big Agnes Air Core. My little backpacking quilt. This is my warm weather setup. I did bring my largest pack, which is a monstrous 65-liter Celtic Coyote. So you can see it's hardly putting a dent on the vestibule. It's just, that vestibule is bombers. So on the inside, let's go and take a look. You don't get a ton of room here, that's for sure. You're kind of just maxing out width to width. I want to say it's about 25 inches wide. On the inside of it, it's pretty livable. It's small though, don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, your head's hitting the mesh here. Down here I got enough room for my ditty bag, my raincoat, my pertinets, easy access to my pack, my cook stuff. Alright guys, let's talk about livability. What do we think about it so far? Now that I've got my gear stuffed in there, I'm glad that I'm short at 5'6". I think a person over 6 foot ought to get a little cramped in there for him, and I'll show you why. It is definitely, it's got one heck of a vestibule in it, so let's talk about what I got in there. The first thing is my pack. This is my large winter pack. Yes, I carried a winter pack in the summer. Why? I wanted to bring it on this to kind of show how much room this tent has just in the vestibule. That is a 65-liter Celtic Coyote. That pack is huge. And you can see the vestibule just devoured it. It's hardly putting a dent and pushing out on that fabric. Hardly touching it. Just hardly touching it. So, tons of room in the vestibule. Now on the inside, what I've got is a 22-inch wide, 60-inch long Thermalite Z-Lite knockoff. On top of that, I got a 20 by 72 Big Agnes air core. So when you think about how much space I got in here, ain't a lot, man. There's just not a lot. I mean, if I push it that way, we're talking, 3-4 inches of space on the side of the pad. Oh, let's go inside of it. Oh yeah, there we go. So up here, my Trekology pillow, and you can see it's hitting the mesh. So that might be an issue. Not sure. The foot of it, you can see the mesh kind of comes down again. Not sure why. But I got space for my ditty bag, my permit, headlamp, medical stuff. Again, I got tons of space for this pack here. It's just unreal amount of room. Up top, I've got my little Nightcore Tiki. I love this little light. I'm going to be doing a separate review on this guy. Maybe tonight, we'll see, on the Nightcore Tiki. See, this is how close you are to everything in this tank because it's so small. Now, I would imagine, obviously, when you take this inner mesh out and you're just using the rainfly, which I've set up, it is spacious in here. You can stretch out in here. You can throw your Tyvek down, your Polycro, and you are good to go. Pretty happy about that setup. And that's really what I got this for. I didn't get this for warm weather. This is going to be my stealth camping, colder fall, early spring, winter tent. And I'm not going to be using the mesh, obviously. The mesh is a bit of engineering. It's definitely some decent mesh. But you are really tight in on this thing. Like I say here, you're going up and you're hitting that mesh. So I'm just not sure how that's going to work out. I can stretch out okay, but remember, I'm 5'6". I'm shorter than like every one of you people. So just keep that in mind. You know what? Let's drop the rainfly. Hold on one second. All right, so we unraveled it. Oh, man, that is spacious. Look at that. Just got my legs out, just chilling. Oh, yeah. Can't see me. So, yeah, for space, this is actually pretty bomber. If you safely, and I do mean safely, can get a little bit of cooking going on in here. I don't recommend it. I didn't say it, not like I haven't done it, and you've probably done it too. But yeah, pretty nice, right? All right, guys, let's roll back both rainflies and see what we got. Well, that's interesting. So one thing I quickly noticed about the Nightfall is there's, on the first vestibule door, of course, there's a tie back. Okay, little toggle, nice and cool. Second vestibule door, there is not a tie back. There is no way to tie that thing off. So what I did was I just kind of rolled it and gently stuffed it down that little thing to kind of hold it in place. But this gives you another perspective of it. That works. You could do that. It's totally stable. It's not going anywhere. Let's take another look around it. Now I'm going to do a follow-up video, and the follow-up is going to be an actual stealth camp of this thing to kind of show and highlight the camouflage. I have done a video about the Highlander Kryptek pattern Slumberjack tarp I have. But this was kind of a whole new game here because this guy was the actual tent. Now, one thing I'll notice too is if you look in the back, you'll see a pretty good amount of space between the back of the tent and this. Now, not to be one not to utilize space, a fella could, if you have camp shoes, take your shoes off, slide them up underneath there, just like so. That wouldn't be hard to do. There's definitely space for a pair of boots underneath that. So all you would have to do is maybe pull that guy up like so, and just put your gear underneath it like so. There you go. So you put a pair of boots down there, can of fuel, whatever, jug of water. Like I cached water for that trip, so I could probably fill a gallon jug of water. It would just sit right in there. Pretty cool. So that's another nice thing I noticed. Now, my overall impressions, excellent. It's a great little tent. It's got some nuances. Kind of like setting it up is a little wonky, and the reason why is it's kind of a hybrid tent. It's a semi-freestanding tent. But it's got some shapes to it, like you'll see there, that just, it's not taut. It's just it seems to be no way to get that to tighten up, and it kind of sags on the inside. I'm trying Slumberjack. If you got any ideas on how to pitch it better, I've tried 8 million ways to pitch it, but that's the only complaint I really have. Be nice if that door had a tie back. Not a big deal. So what are my overall thoughts? Weight. I'm used to carrying an ultralight trekking pole tent at 27 ounces. My Light Heart Solo. I used to have a 6 Moon Scout. So carrying a 3.5 pound tent, a little different for me. I'm used to carrying a little bit lighter. But honestly, guys, 3.5 pounds is not that heavy. I'm sorry. Just man up and carry it. It's not that bad. It's really not. My whole base weight today, including a humongous pack, was with food and water, was under 20. So you can do it. I like it, guys. I do. I think it's a beautiful tent. I can't wait to get it out on the National Stealth Camp. And really see if I can make this baby disappear in the bush, and I don't think I'm going to have a problem with that. So, you know the drill. There's a link down below. It's not an affiliate link. I paid for this tent, so my opinions obviously are my own. My opinions are my own anyway. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me if you have any of the Kryptek Highlander pattern. What environment did you find does it work best in? What do you think about it? And on that note, guys, hit that like button, destroy that subscribe button, hit it twice, hit it 3 times. Just keep hitting it until you're happy. Hit that notification bell. And I hope to see you guys back soon again. My next video will be of this concealing it in an actual stealth camping in an area I'm not supposed to be. I'm a prolific stealth camper, I'll say it, but I don't do it on people's private property. State, federal land, you better believe it. Someone's property, no, I don't stealth camp on people's property, man. No, I don't. Nope. But I do like to stealth camp. I believe if you do it right, you leave no trace, you practice those principles, they'll never know you were there. Just do it that way. Easy peasy. All right, guys. See you on the next one. Cheers.